Okay, so let's talk about Beau is Afraid, Ari Aster's third film, and this one is coming with Joaquin Phoenix, which is going to be a regular, it seems, for Ari Aster now, and I'm not disappointed by that at all. So let's get right into the movie Disappointed Boulevard, which was its original title, and I think that would have been such a better title than Beau is Afraid. We'll never know why it got changed, but let's get right into it. So before we get any further into the review, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and we are on the road to 30,000 subscribers at 27,500, which is really close right now. We will be announcing a giveaway, so make sure that you are subscribed to know when that giveaway gets announced. But let's get right into my thoughts on Beau is Afraid. So first and foremost, this is not going to be a movie for everybody. I think Hereditary is definitely Ari Aster's most universally accepted film. I think that one's definitely regarded as a great horror film, and I think nobody really came out of that angry or disappointed with it. It definitely, I think, revolutionized horror and gave it a pivot that it needed. So I definitely do think that Beau is Afraid is going to be his most divisive film. However, I think that that is definitely going to be a movie where you might go into it thinking you're going to hate it and you'll love it. You might go into it thinking you're going to love it and you're going to hate it. And that's exactly what I think this movie is going to be. So let's get into my pros for this movie, which of course is going to be the performances. Of course, Joaquin Phoenix is going to be the person you're with throughout the whole movie. You're with him 100% throughout. And I thought that that was definitely a interesting thing about the movie is you're with this character from beginning to end. There is no moments in time when you're not with Joaquin Phoenix. He definitely is always there, whether you're seeing some flashbacks or anything like that. He's still in the corner, he's still in the background, he's still there with you. And I think he really delivers such a very haunting, complex, and very dark and tattered soul of a performance that's just crushing to see this person go through everything that they go through is Beau. And I think that he really nails all of these emotions that he goes through, whether it's being scared, whether it's being angry, whether it's being confused, whether it's being just downright like broken. And I really did enjoy his performance in this. Other notable acts in here, of course, Amy Ryan, Nathan Lane, Patty Lee Parker Posey, all of these characters that they have as well really accentuate who Beau is, but at the same time they are their own characters. And I really love, even though some of them got shorter time in their appearance, they were able to still give us a great performance from these characters as well. And you really start to have this world that feels very full, but at the same time doesn't distract you away from our main centerpiece, which is Beau. Like I said, the performances here were great, they were outstanding, and I definitely do applaud everybody here. Another thing I enjoyed about this was also the surreal aspect of it, because I was wondering how much of the movie would be surreal, how much of it be reality, how long would it take before we get into this whole surreal like vibe of the movie. And the movie right off the bat just goes straight diving into all of this, where you have this world that is just filled with so much of our own world, but it's sort of hyper fixated on making it as wacky and as surreal as can be, whether you have a bunch of advertisement, you have a lot of pharmaceuticals and things like that, which we see in our world, in our society today, being a problem. Of course, it's sort of like Ari Aster takes an accent on all of this and really makes it much more in your face, which I think some people didn't like about the movie, that some of these things were in your face, but at the same time I don't see a problem with that. I don't think that Ari Aster wanted to be subtle, and I don't think this movie wants to be subtle at all, right from the advertisements and everything we've seen from it. So I definitely do think that this was purposeful, and it makes sense in the context of the movie, because this is a person filled with paranoia, filled with so much anxiety, and of course this is how they're going to view the world. And I think it really is a great way to show it, and I was happy with that, because I thought that it really makes you go deeper into how Beau really feels about everything. Some of the situations do get really scary, and you really do start to feel like, damn, something is going to happen, and you really get into how this character feels. That's just how I took it, and I really enjoyed that aspect of the movie. The movie also is feeling very episodic, which can be a letdown for some, where it feels like every time Beau enters a new sort of slew of characters and background, the movie just kind of cuts to black. And it makes sense how it cuts to black, whether he gets hit, whether he gets a fall or something that makes him black out. But it does feel like, and on our next episode, sort of like this could have been a TV show as well. And I do enjoy that, and I can see where some people might feel a little bit drawn away from that, because it feels like it kind of takes you out of the movie. And I kind of think that that's a good thing, that it takes you out of the movie, kind of like little breaks and pauses in between, because you do deal with a lot of things with Beau and these characters, because things get outrageous, things get crazy, and you need that little breather. So like I said, I think that you definitely get these moments that might feel a little bit that take you out of the movie, but at the same time they kind of work in the sense of how the movie is set up as this sort of odyssey journey that you're following this character go through, and these different emotions, these different sort of missions of sort, you could say, in order to get right in their head. But overall, like I said, I enjoyed it. I thought that the acting here was great. I thought that the way the surreal elements worked as well, even though things were sort of in your face, I think they were meant to be in your face. I don't think that's sort of a flaw in the movie, for my opinion. I think that this is a way for Ari Aster just to project everything he wanted to project. And like he says, this is the movie he's always wanted to make. And for that, I give it kudos that he definitely doesn't hold back and goes all out. But there are also some things that I think could have been a little bit better. Like I said, 3-hour runtime is a big thing, and for me, I always say an hour 30, an hour 50 is that sweet spot. And I know movies have to sometimes go over. This movie's definitely a movie I don't think should have been that short, but I think that 30 minutes of this movie definitely could have cut it down to give it really that more of a leaner, meaner hit to it. Overall, like I said, there are points in this where you might feel a little bit dozing off at some points, and that's definitely right at that 2-hour second act. Halfway through it, there are points where I was just like, I need to get to this next spot already, because I'm feeling it a little bit this runtime now. But that's definitely its biggest flaw in my opinion. Overall, I enjoyed it. I thought that the ending was great. I really did like it for the most part. There was a point where I thought it was going to end. I was just like, but then they went into something completely else, and I was like, okay, now you got my attention 100%. But like I said, it's definitely these actors that really pull it together, I feel, when the movie starts to sort of lose its balance at points with that runtime. Also with some of the things it's trying to say, because the movie really is trying to say a lot at the same time while having its main plot and story going. And there's this sort of thing that happens towards the end as well that kind of wants to tie a lot of things up and make it this big like twist of sorts, which I didn't think was as impactful as the rest of the movie was. So that definitely was a thing that kind of like made the movie come down a bit for me, and I think I would have gave it such a perfect rating if it wasn't for those things. But overall, I still enjoyed the movie. I don't know if I'll revisit it again anytime soon, because I think it is such a enduring movie to watch, and you have to really commit to it 100% if you're really going to enjoy it. So I definitely do like it as that movie you watch once and that's it. But I do think that its impact and everything done here is definitely going to be felt. I definitely think it's Ari Aster's magnus opus for now. I think he really does do a lot of the elements he wanted from Hereditary and Midsommar in here, with some of the things he might have not been able to do in those movies because of creative freedom or whatever. But at the same time, it is going to be his most divisive film. And for that, I say also that everybody who hates this movie, I understand why they hate it, and everybody who loves it, I understand why they love it. It's one of those movies that you just know it's not for everybody, and you understand why people would hate it and why people will love it. So that's all I'll say about the movie. Overall, we give it a 4 out of 5. I was leaning closer to 3.7, but just because of the acting and everything in here, as well as just the courage to do something like this so grand and weird and surreal, it really elevates it a little bit more. So I went with that 4 out of 5. But I'd like to know your thoughts and opinions, whether you gave it a 1, whether you gave it a 0, or you gave it a 5 out of 5. Let me know in the comments down below. Like I said, there's a lot to unpack in this movie, so we'll definitely be making some more videos talking about the symbolism, the ending, what exactly everything was, and what exactly was real and what wasn't. So stay tuned for this videos this week. Probably tomorrow we'll have one on that already, so make sure you tune in for that. But like I said, we're going to be running a giveaway once we reach 27,500. We'll announce what that giveaway will look like. There will be 3 prizes, so stay tuned for that. And as always, follow us on our website, www.culturalelixir.com, as well as our Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all that. I'll see all of you next time. As always, stay safe, stay positive.